It's MFL MarMac Coach Conversation brought to you by Meyer Auto Service, Havlicek Trucking, and Birdnow Chevrolet. Head coach Dan Anderson joining us. And coach, you wondered if your team could bounce back. They definitely did so last week. Went into a tough place to play in Dike, New Hartford, and got the job done 34-14. What got it done for you?
Intensity, good attitude. The guys, just playing like they had to win, and they did. They came out with an intensity that we haven't played with this year, and or at least we didn't the week before. And they created a lot of turnovers, flying to the football. I mean, that anytime you have a lot of guys sprinting to the ball and getting hits on guys, and stripping at the ball, and then you have a lot of guys flowing the ball. We had a lot of guys around the ball all the time, and anytime a ball would pop out, we were on top of it. Wyatt scooped one up and went 80 yards for a touchdown. And, we were able to run the ball too against a team that has a really good defense, a team that had only given up 7 points to Grundy Center and only 7 points to West Branch team, two teams that are ranked number 1 and ranked number 6 in the state. We were able to put 34 points on them. So I was really pleased with our offense.
And you mentioned your defense with 5 takeaways, including one directly leading to that score with Wyatt Powell on that fumble recovery. 10 tackles for a loss and 5 sacks. That kind of backs up what you were just touching on, correct?
Yeah, it's what we do. We come after guys. If we get somebody down, we pin our ears back and we come after them. Towards the end of the game there, we were going to get the win, but some of the guys do we want to go into a prevent defense there? I mean, and the great thing is we were up 34-7 in the fourth quarter, and never in my wildest dreams would I have thought that we'd be able to get some of our reserves, our second team guys in there in a game against the 6th ranked team in the state. But when you're up 34-7 there, we got those guys in the fourth quarter. And I tell you what, Dike never pulled their starters. And although they did score on us, our backups really made them work for it. It took a long time to get into the end zone and a methodical drive. And so I was really proud of those guys to get in there and to play well. But then, they scored and made it 34-14. And then, we're worried maybe they're trying an onside kick. And although the game was probably out of reach, they also have to keep in mind that 17-point tiebreaker. They need some points because everybody in our district's got one loss. And so now points come into effect. So, they ended up, they did kick it deep, and we had some second team guys in there, and we ended up having to punt, and then we had to put our starters back in just so we could make sure that they didn't get under 17 points. And our guys asked me if they thought, should we go to a prevent? And I said, what do we do best? And they said, come after the quarterback. So that's what we did. And Tristan Kane had 2 sacks in that last drive. And then Coach Don Betts kind of called the dogs off there. He understood that he didn't want to get his quarterback hurt. And we were putting some hits on him, so figured he'd just save him for next week.
And you talk about the running game, and I know this is what you do on a usual basis, but 4 guys with more than 50 yards rushing. There was very nice balance within the run game itself. What do you credit that to?
Well, anytime you've got 4 guys over 50 yards, a lot of credit goes to your offensive line. And, the guys running extremely hard. And I got to give credit to Coach Pomerantz and his game plan, too, my offensive coordinator. And he had the game plan set since March, and we had them scouted well. We know how they adjust to all of our formations and our shifts and everything like that. So we gave them a few looks that they hadn't seen and put them in and I just thought our guys really, drove their legs well and leaned on them and started to wear down those Dike guys because technically they're very sound, but our guys were just more physical and we just seemed to want it a little bit more. And, I thought Carver really ran the ball well at quarterback, running some midline option. He made the right reads. He pulled the ball when he should, and he handed it off when he should. And at the end of the game there, we were up 27-7 there in the third. And I told the guys, I said, the Dike's worst enemy is the clock right now. So we need a good drive here. Whether we put points on the board or not, we can't be going 3 and out. We need to have a nice methodical drive here and burn off some time. And I know end of the third quarter is not the time you usually want to be putting in your 4-minute offense and slowing things down. But hey, you're up by 3 scores on Dike. Just slow it down a little bit. And I was really proud of our guys because we had a 14-play drive and we never threw it once. We ran it. We just kept getting first down and first down. And we didn't get any big chunk plays. We didn't get any big long runs, but we were getting, anywhere from 4 to 9 or 10 yards every play and getting first downs. And we were just burning the clock. And it took an 8 minutes off the clock in the third and into the fourth, and scored again to put up 34-7. And by then it was then we kind of sealed the deal there.
Well, your reward for a nice win last week. Another quality opponent this week as Denver comes to town, and they're coming off their first loss of the season to Sumner Fredericksburg. As you guys are kind of taking care of each other in your district play. What are you expecting out of the Cyclones come Friday night?
Yeah, they're good, man. They're good. They're big. They're really big. We're not small, but they're big. They're like, their offensive line is 240 to 280 all the way across the offense and defensive lines. And for 1A football, or any football, that's pretty good size for high school football. And the crazy thing is they don't just have 5 guys like that. They've got like 8 or 9 guys on the roster that size. They have a heavy package where they run a power I. They take out their tight end. They put in another 100 or 250 pound offensive lineman at tight end, and then they put a 240 pound fullback in the backfield. So they play with 7 offensive linemen, and they just bully people is what they do, Darren. They say, you know what? See if you can stop us. Most teams can't. Sumner Fred did last week. They were able to hold them in check. And I think that Denver still had 300 yards of total offense, but Sumner Fred was able to keep them out of the end zone all but one score. So we're going to have to try to match the same intensity we had last Friday night. And, our guys are going to have to really fly to the ball, and pad levels will be important, because otherwise, those guys from Denver, they're bullies. They want to knock you back, and they're big and physical kids.
All right. Hopefully that's exactly what you can do this Friday night, Coach. Keep your kids healthy. We wish best of luck.
All right. Thanks, Darren.
Dan Anderson, head coach of the MFL MarMac Bulldogs, brought to you by Meyer Auto Service, Havlicek Trucking, and Birdnow Chevrolet.